What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of The Block is Hot. Today, I woke up and I was thinking to myself, if I was to invest, and these are the conversations I have with myself, I was like, if I was to invest 10,000 ADA into CNFTs, or if someone asked me, hey, I have 10,000 ADA, what should I do? What would I tell them? And I went down this rabbit hole of researching a bunch of projects, like really giving an in-depth look and really trying to strategize how I would budget this 10,000 ADA. So in this video, I'm just going to be going over exactly what I would do. And I also have a spreadsheet down in the description that's going to have all of these different things that I would go for and things that I would buy in case that you actually want to replicate this. But without further ado, let's get into it. Before I go into a deep dive of everything that I did and what all I put in here, I want you guys to know that this is a lot of stuff, right? Like if you were to try to buy all of these things that I have listed on here, it would take you forever on Cardano, and maybe things would change by the time you're able to do this. So that's why I have a list of alternative plays down here, and depending on what your mindset is, what your time frame is, depending on what the market does, there are different situations that you could take some stuff or put some stuff away or buy more stuff than others. But this list, in my opinion, is a very solid portfolio, and it's really covering a lot of the market. Some of these are going to make a lot more money than others, but I really believe that every single project on here has a spot for a reason, and I hope I can demonstrate that in this video. I'm going to be going over these projects rather quickly for you guys. Project number one, DEADPXLZ. You're going to want one of these and you're going to want to pay 2,400 ADA. Now, I really thought that this was going to drop, and it did a little bit. I actually just, tried buying one for 2250. Hopefully that one goes through. I've been having a lot of failed transactions. But regardless, this is a project that you're going to want to keep your eyes on, and I think that this is going to do extremely well in the long term. What's cool is you can actually click on this NFT. You can get the different stats. You can make it frown. You can make it smile. You can have a neutral face. Very cool project, but the big thing they're doing is that they're having a game, and that game is already in development by one of the biggest developers in this space, Adrian, who is also the founder of this project. Check out a video of him going over the gameplay. They already have a lot of this stuff figured out, and it's just insane. They're going to have this whole forge concept that if you own these DEADPXLZ, whenever someone goes to play the game or, pays to be in a season, you are going to get a percentage of that royalty. Very, very bullish on this project. RatsDAO alone has bought over 52 of these, and I think this needs to be a project in everybody's portfolio if you are spending 10,000 ADA. The second project on our list is Pavia. I'm getting 2 pieces of Pavia for $490 each. Now, I was screaming at people to buy Pavia when it dropped to 380 to 400, and I actually called that drop based on 40,000 new pieces of land coming in based on the 60,000 they already came out. When you did the math, it would have dropped to 400 ADA, right? It is now 480 ADA and only a couple days later. I think that this is going to be the Decentraland of the Cardano ecosystem, and now that all the land is out, I can't see a reason why this isn't the bottom. Like, demand is only going to increase over time, and we just had a ton of supply go out, and we had a ton of people panic sell and basically just take the profit because they only spent like 80 or 90 ADA per piece of land. So I'm very bullish on this. I even wrote as an alternative play that maybe you just load up on a ton of Pavia. I think they're doing big things, and one of the FUD pieces that was going on about the CEO or whatever the case is, he actually just undoxed himself. So very bullish on this project, and you have to have this in your portfolio. As another metaverse play, I'm going to get 1 piece of Boss Planet for about 528 ADA. The reason I'm doing this is because this could potentially be the sandbox of the Cardano ecosystem. There is a lot of hype behind Boss Cat stuff, and even though there's FUD and there's things that I wish the team hadn't done sometimes, I think that this project will do really well. Instead of getting the cats or instead of getting the parts, I actually think getting the land is a much better play. The reason is because this land is going to have a lot more utility than those cats or those parts, unless you are in fact building a rocket, which is out of the price range for this video. I personally thought this land was going to dip a lot more, because they were doing 36,000 plots instead of 13,000. But the big thing that's been happening here, guys, is all of their investors, which got 19,000 out of the 16,000 plots of land, not a single one have sold. My one worry with this project is I don't know if this is the genuine floor or not. This is the floor based on everyone that was able to get in from the 16,000 plots that went to the public in pre-sale, right? So I'm worried that the actual investors of this project could just all of a sudden decide to dump. And if they do decide to dump, this would go a lot lower. My worry with this is that we have no idea who the investors are. We have no idea who the partners are. Who knows if Boss Cat Rocket Club just sent a lot of these pieces of land to their own wallets and said it was from investors, but really they were just giving themselves that land for free. We have no idea what's going on, so I'm a little sketched out buying in at this price. Now, it seems like it's been holding this price at 525 ADA for a while now, so that's why you might want to buy one, but I would not dump a ton of money into from your 10,000 into this project until we get some more clarity of the situation or until we see what those investors start doing with their pieces of land. Next thing I would buy is Yummi. Yummi is an OG project. It's going for about 370 ADA. They have a couple different seasons, but the one you're going to want is probably their original, which is the Yummi Universe Naru. If I'm even saying that right. What these guys are trying to do is they're trying to build a Pokemon on Cardano. Now, I want to say that from my experience of trying to find Cardano developers, it is very, very difficult. Not a lot of people know how to code in this industry. So whenever you're trying to promise that you're going to make a game and all this stuff, I'm a little bit hesitant just because of how much work and how much time and resources are going to go into actually making that a reality. That's why I'm only buying one of these guys. You also had RatsDAO just buy them recently as well. And this is a play just in case that they do, release that play to earn Pokemon style thing. If they do that, like I expect these to go up. So that's why I want to at least have one in my wallet. The next thing I'm buying here, guys, is Ape Society. You're going to need one ape project in your portfolio. The reason is because there's going to be an ape project that really blows up and takes the #1 seed. The two main competitors are the Ape Society and Chilled Kongs. Chilled Kongs is an OG. It's been around for a while. Now, Chilled Kongs just released their roadmap, and they're going to do a metaverse and all this stuff. But I personally like the Ape Society better. The reason I like it better is it's almost had just as much volume as Chilled Kongs, and it's been around for like a sixth of the time. That's #1. #2, I actually like their website a lot and how when they come out with their metaverse, they're doing this whole trait thing. So for example, if your ape is an explorer, then you're gonna get different benefits than if your ape is an engineer. Or if your ape is a king, for example, you're going to be part of an exclusive Discord and you're also going to get a royalty share. Maybe your ape is an engineer and you're gonna get reduced cost when you're building stuff. So I really like the concept of that. I like their website and I actually like a lot what this team is doing. And I personally think for the price difference, this is probably the better buy. Next thing on the list, guys, Clay Nation. You're going to get one of these for 1,600 ADA. The reason that you're going to get a Clay Nation is because it is an OG project. The community is super, super strong. All their team is doxed and is out in the open and are very active in the community. But the big thing is that they're doing their Clayverse. They're doing their whole metaverse very, very soon. And 30% of the supply is going to be reserved to people holding these Clay Nations. So I expect that once more people get wind of this and know, and once the date comes sooner, I expect these are going to rise up in price. And I think that the amount of money you're going to make from the whitelisting is going to be a pretty positive thing. But regardless, this is also another project that RatsDAO has invested a lot into, and this is a project to stay. This is a blue chip, and it's not going anywhere, and it deserves a spot in your portfolio. Next thing on our list, guys, Brightpalz. 2 of these for 55 ADA. Why am I investing in Brightpalz? Well, it's not for the utility. All they're doing really is selling this art. Now, why do I think that this art could potentially do good? Well, they are the #1 Cardano project when it comes to this style of art, right? So if a lot of people come over from Ethereum NFTs, which most people do, then there is going to be a narrative for Brightpalz. Oh, they're the doodles of Cardano. If that narrative sticks and we get a lot more people coming from Ethereum, which I'm expecting to happen once they realize they've been making a mistake this entire time, then I think that these could go up a lot. I think this could just get a major push regardless of the community, regardless of the utility they're having. It would just be a push simply because it's the art. So getting 2 of these at 55 ADA each doesn't seem like a bad play for our portfolio. The next thing on our list, guys, is Borg Club. We're getting 1 of these for 250 ADA. Why are we getting a Borg Club? Well, they ran to 400 ADA right before their corrupted chip drop, and this is a prime example of hype and FOMO and why we have to be on the other side of things, so make sure you watch that video. But regardless, we're at 250. I think this is a really great buy-in price. They have a strong community. The holder to actual Borg ratio is really good, and they just released their corrupted chips recently. Their corrupted chips are going to make these guys look absolutely insane. They're going to have a DAO. They're going to do a bunch of stuff. I think these are really undervalued, and I think that we could see a pretty big push up in the future once you can actually corrupt your Borgs. Next thing, RatsDAO, getting 1 of these for 250. Now they rose a little bit since I've made the spreadsheet already, but what's crazy about these guys is that they just launched their RAT token, and you're going to be able to stake these guys to get that RAT token. So at current RAT token prices, which is going to go down, guys, let's be honest, you're going to get about 400 ADA after the course of a year. I think that rat token is actually going to go down though, but I still think that this is a good investment for one reason. You are going to be a part of the most influential DAO in the space. They have the most money, they have the biggest portfolio, and when they invest in stuff, that stuff goes up because a lot of people are copying their plays. I made a whole video about RatsDAO and how they're kind of becoming the Cathy Wood of the CNFT world when it comes to influencing the price of these different NFTs they're purchasing. Just the fact that you can be in there and you can get that different information and you can help, talk to other people and get that investing knowledge, I think that's worth the price. Now, what's crazy is I called that they were going to drop from 300 to 200, and that's exactly what happened. These guys actually dropped down to 200. Instead of going below that to go to 180 or maybe even 150 again, this actually bounced really hard off that 200 and it went to 230, 240 for a while, and now it's all the way back up to 275 just a couple days later. I still think that this is probably a good buy at this price, but the better buy was obviously at 200, which I had called. I think long term though, this deserves to be in your portfolio. Derp Birds is the next thing on our list. We're getting 2 of these for 100 ADA each. Why are we buying these Derp Birds? Well, I actually think the art is cool. The community is strong. The team is extremely transparent. They're constantly releasing stuff. They had eggs come out that you could incubate and they could turn into derplings. They also had the derp apes recently, and they also have Derptopia coming out soon, which is the whole metaverse. This project is constantly doing a lot of stuff. When I had made a video just mentioning these guys, I don't do any paid promotions or anything, but their team actually sent me a free Derp Bird just as a thank you for doing that. I haven't had a single project offer that at all. I've had a lot of projects offer me money, but I told you guys I'm not doing paid promotions. I decided against that, and you will never see me do a paid promotion. And if you really get to know me, you'll know that my word is as good as diamonds. Like, that is a fact, and that will not change. So it's really cool that these guys were kind enough to offer that to me without me even asking for it or even expecting it. That just goes to show you how in-depth this team is and how much how much they're paying attention to the overall market and what people are saying about them. Next thing on our list is Mocossi. I have no idea how to say it, but we're getting one of those for 300 ADA. Why do I like this project? Well, not only do I think the art is a little bit cute and I think it's going to attract a lot of females to this sort of art as well, but they're also making a game. Their website looks incredible, and I don't want to go into too detailed and stuff, but dude, look how crazy this website is. Their white paper is very cleanly laid out. They have a ton of stuff on there. They are having their whole metaverse. They're going to make a play-to-earn game out of it. They are going to have different airdrops. They have the token. I mean, the graphics of this look great. The team is all docs. This is a project that I didn't know about until recently, but I'm glad I did. And I think that having one of these, in case all that play-to-earn stuff comes out and this project really blows up, I think having one of these is probably a good idea with your 10,000 ADA portfolio. Next project on our list here, guys, is Lazy Llamas. We're going to get one of those for $390. It's actually $399 since I made that spreadsheet this morning. This is a team that constantly delivers. This is a team that is constantly doing stuff. They have serums that are going to be able to mutate your Lazy Llamas, and they are going to look super cool. Their serums are going for over 300, 400 ADA as well. They do a ton of stuff. They partnered with ADA Realm. They sold 20,000 plots of that. I mean, this is just a community that's super strong as well. Like, when this stuff when they were having their whole lazy island thing, I was expecting this to dip pretty hard. And I had said that it would go to 300 and that it eventually did go to 300, but it was there for a very short amount of time. This community is strong. They love their llamas. And I think once things are mutated, they're really going to stand out. And I think a lot more people are going to pay attention to it. When I first made this list, I actually was going to buy multiple lazy llamas, but I was having a hard time trying to figure out how to budget some of the smaller stuff just because I think there's opportunities in those small plays as well. Overall, I like this project and I'm very bullish on it. Next project on our list, guys, is Equine or Equine, something like that, NFT, right? 330 ADA, we're getting one of those. And once again, guys, it is now 370. People must have looked at my sheet and bought some of this stuff, or, because it seems like everything went up a little bit, which is kind of weird. I don't realize I can have influence on price sometimes. It's really weird. But regardless, this is a project I really like. This is a blue chip. You are going to be able to race your horses, breed your horses. There are jockeys for this. Their team is very very stacked. They're all docs and they've done big things in the past. I think that this is a collection that's going to do very well. I think when the game comes out, there's going to be a lot of hype about it. And the fact that all these different horses have all these different stats, the fact that you can pair different jockeys to ride those horses, the fact that there's going to be different skins, the fact that you're going to be able to breed these guys together and have really cool breeds and unique combinations and stats and race them and make money is very, very cool. I like what their team is doing, and this is a very slept on project, and I think that this is going to go up a lot in the long term. Next thing on our list, guys, is AdaPunkz. We're getting one of these guys for only 59 ADA. Why are we getting an AdaPunk? Well, this is simply a gamble. If this can do anything like CryptoPunks did on Ethereum, then this is going to do extremely well, have a very high potential while not costing you that much money. The risk isn't that high. Now, there's a couple projects that tried doing this whole AdaPunkz thing, but this is the biggest one by far. They've almost had 1 million ADA worth of volume, and if we do get this whole AdaPunkz thing, like if this really does kick off kind of like a CryptoPunks thing, then this would be the one that does it. Next project on our list here, guys, is Mutant Croc. We're getting one of these for 290 ADA. Why are we getting a Mutant Croc? Well, the thing with Mutant Crocs is it's a whole mutant family. So they have the Crocs and they have the Toads, and there's going to be 3 more seasons here. They have a marketplace called Epoch that is trying to compete with JPEG Store. Now, there's a lot of marketplaces coming out, but the promise with this marketplace is half of the transaction fees are going to get split between Crocs and Toads. 60% are going to Crocs, 40% are going to Toads. So if that marketplace really kicks up and a lot of people are buying and selling on there, then that can be a really great passive income for this. You also know that there's going to be 3 more seasons, so that's 3 more opportunities to be whitelisted and get in at a good price and make a good flip. There's also going to be a card game at the end, and after talking to their developer, I'm actually pretty bullish on this project. I'm not going to go all in with this because I know that the idea of being able to compete with JPEG Store and the fact that there are so many marketplaces coming out, like the amount of royalties you're going to get is probably pretty low, but there is a chance that that marketplace really kicks up, especially if they add a lot of stuff, and that this could be a great passive income. Next project on our list, guys, is BlockOwl. We're getting one of these for 275 ADA. Why are we buying BlockOwls? Well, they're really cool. Number one, they look really good, but the big thing is that they have animations, and the animations are really, really good. I like the way these look. I like how they're animated. There's all sorts of different stuff they've done. They have multiple seasons coming out with all these different accessories and cool different projects that they're adding onto this. I could just see this really blowing up. Like, they look great. Not a lot of people know about this project yet, and there's pretty much nothing out there that is doing animations like this. So I think buying one of those and just knowing that you're getting into one of the best animated projects of all of CNFT is probably not a bad move. I mean, just look at these guys. If this loads, I mean, that looks pretty cool, man. They look really unique. The animations are unique. I just have a feeling that this sort of art is really going to take off. And I have a feeling too that people are going to care more about these animations in the future than they do now, especially when 99.5% of projects are not animated. For the next project, we are getting one OG bear for about 90 ADA. Why are we buying one of these guys? Well, they have a lot going on. They have a metaverse coming out. They have a game coming out. They already have some gameplay of that, so you know they're not capping. They have their own token called Salmon Token that you're going to get from staking these guys. All of these guys have different traits and are going to be on different pieces of the island as far as their metaverse. So for example, if you get one of the super rare ones that are 1% that is an ice bear, then that ice bear is going to be in a totally different land or territory than all the other bears. So it's really cool how they're doing that. They're going to have a ton of different mini games on there that you're going to be able to play and make money from their Salmon Token. I just overall like this project. It's 3D. It's bears. They look pretty good. This is going to be your avatar, and I expect that this is going to, gain a lot of buzz once more people have eyes on it. This is a pretty small project, so not a lot of people know about it. So that's why I'm just getting one, because it is a little bit of speculation, but I do like their roadmap, and if they're able to deliver on a lot of the utility that they promise, I expect these bears to do a lot better. Next project on the list, guys, is HashGuardians. We're getting one of these guys for 40 ADA. Why are we buying HashGuardians? Well, HashGuardians actually has a lot of stuff in their roadmap. I made a video about it recently. They're actually about to drop some loot boxes, I believe, this Saturday. These HashGuardians are going to be making their utility token every single month, and there is going to be a ton of different mini games that you can play. And they have these hash boxes. Let me see if I can open up a hash box. They have these hash boxes that are going to have different items and accessories and weapons that you can equip to your HashGuardian. So it's really, really cool. Like when you're playing this game or when you open up a loot box, you're going to have all these different quests, and you're basically going to be able to get these different weapons. Like, for example, this might be a super, super rare shield, or I was meaning to say sword. Maybe it's a rare shield too, but maybe that gives gives you some benefits in the game, and maybe you're able to compete better. So I like just having one of these guys just in case that game does come out and that game does do super well. Because once again, you are getting their token. I forget what it's called, hash token. I really can't remember right now, but you're getting that token at the end of the month, every single month, just from holding these guys. So once again, if that game does blow up, it'll be nice to at least have one of these guys, maybe play it, maybe have some fun with it, and maybe make some money passively through that coin generation. Next thing on our list, guys, is Borg corrupted chips. We're getting one of these bad boys for 108. These chips will do very well in the future. I'm calling it now. You can shit on me if they don't. I personally own 15 or 16 of these, and I think that once the utility comes where you can corrupt your Borg, once the utility comes where you're able to take a part of the DAO, once you start getting those exclusive airdrops to chip holders, this will go stupid. And I'm calling it right now. This is the time to pay attention to this stuff when the utility isn't there, but we know the utility is going to be there. I honestly think right now that Borg chips and the Borg chips and Borgs are very undervalued right now. And once people start to see how cool they look in the near future, these will go up significantly. People don't have that long-term vision, and people don't want to buy stuff when the hype is low. That is when I'm buying. So yes, I bought a bunch of these, and yes, I own like 5 or 6 Borgs, and I really do expect that this is going to do well probably in the next month or two once you can actually do some of this stuff. Next project on our list is Chibidango Heroes. We're getting one of those for 50 ADA. Why are we getting these? Well, what's interesting about these guys is this was the first project that I've ever minted on CNFTs. This was the first project. PlanetPalz was my second. This one did a lot better because I was able to buy 50. I bought 10 at a time, and I only paid 15 ADA each. And I've held all of them besides like 10. So I still have 40, and I actually have some super rare ones. But regardless, they have a season 2 coming out next month, and they have a very ambitious roadmap, and they're trying to do a game, and they're trying to do all this stuff. I don't know how much they're going to deliver on the game and all that stuff because it has been a long time since they're releasing the season 2, and they haven't really done much in the meantime. But I think buying one of these just for the ability to get into their season 2 is probably not a bad play. You only need one of these, and then you'll be able to mint as many season 2 as possible. So there's a chance when that drop is about to happen that these start going up a lot because people are going to want that whitelisted ability. Now, their second season does cost 50 ADA, which is the floor right now. So I think that they're charging too much ADA. I think they would have been better off selling it for less. I think they would have been better off selling for about 30 ADA. So then that way there's a lot more hype behind the project. But I personally like these. And I think that these will do pretty well. And I think having one of these just so you can mint the next season and maybe you get lucky. And if you get lucky, you make a ton of money. And if you don't get lucky, maybe you lose 5, 10 ADA. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth just having one of these though. Next project on our list is JarHeads. We're getting one of these for 400. Guys, it is already at 500. This is going absolutely stupid. I tried putting so many orders in and none were going through, and I honestly am very pissed off. I was able to get one of them for like 300 this morning, but they've already jumped another 200 ADA. This project, I'm telling you guys right now, has the potential to be a $10,000 floor. The artist of this is super humble. He is super cool. There was a whole interview with Cardano Thor, which is one of the bigger people in the Cardano space. These look amazing. I haven't seen anyone do this Picasso style, and I think that this could be a project that could literally be $10,000 each. This is the type of shit where that happens. Do they have utility? No. Do they have a roadmap? No. Do they have any of that stuff? No. Is the team super small? Yes. Usually I wouldn't like this project, but man, does this art stand out, and especially on the Cardano ecosystem. This is the type of stuff where people in the Cardano ecosystem eat up. This is not going to survive well on Ethereum, but this is going to thrive on Cardano. And I don't know if getting in at 500 ADA is a great price, and maybe it's too hot. And I talked a lot on this channel about FOMO and getting into stuff after they've already gone up a lot, but I personally bought one and I didn't give a hell what the price was because this has that potential. This has the potential to literally be $10,000 each. That is what is screaming at me with this project, and that is what's screaming at me with this artist. So I think buying one of these is good. I really can't believe I went to the gym after I made the spreadsheet, and literally since I've gone from the gym, they rose another 100. I like this project though. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but yeah, on to the next one. Next project on the list, guys, that we're only getting one of is Cardano Croc Club. We're getting one for 300 ADA. This once again went up a little bit, but I think that this is a decent buy. You're going to be able to mutate your Crocs next month, and you're going to be able to keep, from what I understand, you're going to be able to keep your Croc, And then for 50 ADA, if you own one of these crocs, you're going to be able to get a mutated croc as well. Now, I'm not too sure if that's exactly how they're doing it, but that's how it sounded, because they were saying that now there was going to be 7,700 with these Cardano crocs, and then 2,300 was going to be going to the public, which makes me think that they're going to have another collection, which is just mutated crocs, and there's going to be 10,000 mutated crocs, and then there's going to be 7,700 of these regular crocs. Now, the one worry is are those mutated crocs going to look so much better that these start to dip? Who knows? Is this price inflated right now in the short term? Who knows? But I think that they're doing a lot. I like the mutation aspect. I like how there's going to be more eyes on this soon. I like the C4 token and the different things you're going to do with it. So I think owning one of these isn't a bad play. Next thing on our list, guys, is Smooth Yeti Mountain Club. We're getting 5 of these for about 46 ADA each. Why are we buying 5 of these? Well, I actually believe that this project is going to blow up in the future. And for 50 ADA, your risk is very low. And I think the only reason the floor isn't higher is because people were able to buy 10 at a time. And most of the time when you can buy so many in one transaction, most of the time people aren't going to keep all 10. Most of the time they're going to sell 8 or they're going to sell 7. So that's why I actually think projects that do 1 at a time are much better off, because you're going to get a much better wallet distribution and it's not going to affect the floor as much. But this means there's an opportunity for us right now. I don't know what it is about these Yetis, but I'm very bullish on them. They have multiple drops in the future. Their website looks great. I think these stand out. I like the fact that it has Club in it. They're trying to do the Yetiverse in the future. There's a lot of engagement going on in their Twitter. I personally think buying 5 of these for only 50 ADA each is going to be a really great long-term play. This is something that, in my opinion, at the end of the year, has the potential of being 400, 500, 600 ADA, especially if the CNFT market explodes. There has been a ton of volume going into this already, 230,000 ADA worth of volume, and it's been less than a week. So I personally like this project, and I think 50 ADA is a no-brainer for me. I really think that these are really undervalued, and what I've been doing recently is just sniping people that have no idea what they have. So if you go on, I mean, this one might be super rare. Hold up, guys, hold up. Literally, as I was talking about trying to snipe stuff that I feel like is undervalued, I was able to buy this one. Now, I think he looks pretty good. I wish it wasn't this puke gold behind him. I'm not a huge fan of that color, but when I went on CNFT tools, the floor for his Cyclops eye was actually 80 ADA, which is about 20 ADA higher, and his hat, he was the only one listed with this hat somehow. So this is a prime example, guys, where if I see a project that I think is already undervalued, then I'm going to be keeping an eye on people posting stuff, because I only paid 9 ADA over the floor, and I personally think that this was a pretty good buy, especially since I already think that this project's undervalued. The last thing I'm buying here, guys, is 1 Moonimals for about 40 ADA. Now, these Moonimals, I was expecting them to do a lot better. And on their website, they actually looked a lot better than what they do on here. I mean, just to show you, and I think that's what kind of hurt them, is like when you look over here, guys, I'm like, dang, these look super, super good. Like they look super clean. Their backgrounds are great and everything. And then when their actual drop happened, they didn't look nearly as good. Like something about the rendering, they kind of look a little bit more pixelated. But regardless, I actually think that this project is undervalued, and they do have a serum coming up in the future, and their past projects have done well. So I expect that this is a pretty good price just to buy one of these guys and see if you can capitalize once they have their serum, and maybe this turns into a pretty good long play as well. Now, what are some alternative plays you can do? Well, alternative play number 1 is you can buy a Space Bud and you get a dead pixel. So Space Bud's going to cost you like 6,700. You got 2,400 for a dead pixel. So now all of a sudden you're looking at 9,100. So you don't have much left over. This is definitely the easiest approach, and I think that it could pay off pretty well. I don't think you're going to make as much money potentially as, you know, really diversifying, but I think those are 2 really safe plays. I really think Space Buds can be 100K in 5 years. I'm a crazy guy, but I sometimes I'm right on this stuff, and I feel like I'm right on that statement, as crazy as it sounds. I think that this year CNFTs are going to blow up. They're going to go absolutely stupid. I think over the next several years CNFTs are going to do extremely well. I think as Cardano congestion dies and as more people get into Cardano and realize the ability of CNFTs, I think that Space Buds is going to go up undoubtedly. They really are the biggest OG project, and they're really going to rival the CryptoPunks of the Cardano ecosystem. Now, guys, I wanted to more than anything wait until DEADPXLZ went down, but I did a shit ton of research this morning. Like, I literally researched for like 8-9 hours today, and I realized how wrong I was about DEADPXLZ. DEADPXLZ is a crazy, crazy project. These are going to do extremely well, and I believe that this is an insane long-term play. I was really hoping that the price would pull back some, and it did. It went from 2,500 to 2,250. I thought it would pull back a little bit more, but after doing my research on it, I really don't think it's going to pull back that much more. I think this is a no-brainer project, and if you do pair that with your SpaceBud, I think that wouldn't even be a bad play as far as a $10,000 purchase. Maybe with the other money you have, the little bit of leftovers, you pick up some Pavia plots as well. Next point I want to bring up here is that you could buy some boss cats, but I think their land is going to be a better buy. Like, think of it, guys. You can get their land for 500 ADA, and it's going to have a lot more utility, in my opinion, than the cats. Like, the cats and the rocket parts are primarily used for whitelisting, and maybe you're going to be able to get these Vox cats in different airdrops, but the main utility you're going to get from this project in the game is going to come from that boss planet. That's where you're going to really make your money from this project. So I think buying boss planet is going to be better than buying cats or parts. Now, if you have a lot of money, you can buy a rocket, and that might be an insane long-term investment. But the problem is, I don't even know if you can you can't buy a rocket for 10,000 ADA. So I personally think buying some of these planets are better. Now, the only reason I wasn't saying to buy more of these boss planets is, like I was saying earlier, I'm not really sure what the floor is going to be. I really thought it was going to be going down to 250, 300 ADA, so I'm really surprised it didn't. I know and understand that all these investors are holding, but there's just sketchiness with that. Like, I worry, like, who are these investors? I know you're partnering with some casinos and stuff, but I do worry. It's like, are your investors yourself, and you were able to mint all those pieces of land for 2 ADA, and you were just sending some of this to yourself? I worry there isn't a lot of transparency with that, and I'm not someone that wants to create FUD, and I'm not trying to create FUD here, but that is my one worry with that. I have no idea who really owns that land, and no one really knows besides them. I also wouldn't even mind if you just bought a shit ton of Pavia right now. If you guys watch my channel, you'll know that I shouted it out at 380, 400 ADA constantly. This is a project that is going to do really well. There's going to be no more land. I think demand is just going to go up over time, and I think that we really are at the floor. When we bottomed at 380, or a couple, that sold for 360, that was the time to buy. I was able to buy 7 or 8 plots, but I should have gone way, way, way harder. And there's an opportunity right now where I should still be going super hard. So I wouldn't even mind, I wouldn't even hate it if you just bought a ton of these pieces of land, knowing that this will be the Decentraland of the Cardano ecosystem. I also wouldn't even hate in the short term if you load it up on Clay Nation. Like, they're going to have their Clayverse soon. You're going to be able to get all those whitelist benefits if you own one of these guys. I think that Clayverse is going to do really well. So if you want to load up on Clay Nation, I don't think that's a bad idea either. Another point I want to bring up is you could buy chilled conks instead of Ape Society. I am bullish on at least one ape project. There is going to be a major one. I personally think that Ape Society is probably better. I personally like it better for the price that it's at, but chilled conks is more established and it is an OG project, so take it as you will. They also announced their roadmap, but who knows what all they're going to deliver on. I mean, they should have been delivering on this stuff already, and that was kind of a complaint I had with them. You have all this money, all this royalty, all this establishedness, but it took you this long to just make a piece of, a graphic showing some of the stuff you guys are going to do. So I personally like the Ape Society more. I think that they're going to have a little bit more leeway just because they are a newer project, and I like how they already mapped out some of the stuff they're doing. Right now, I am most bullish on SpaceBud's, DEADPXLZ, Clay Nation, Lazy Llamas, Borgs and their chips, Pavia, Smooth Yeti, and Equine as far as a short, medium, and long term. These are the projects I'm most bullish on, so if you didn't want to get into all of this stuff and really take a long time, and you didn't necessarily only want to buy 2 things like SpaceBuds and DEADPXLZ, then maybe you do something like this. These are personally the projects that I like the most. I like having a more diversified portfolio, but I wouldn't even hate you if you just bought these projects. I also want to bring up here that even though JarHeads might be hot right now, this project is screaming at me, and I said this could be 10K within 2 years type shit. I really do believe that. Not to suck myself off, but sometimes I'm usually pretty good at like seeing opportunity, and usually I find myself in stuff pretty early. And that's kind of what happened with CNFTs for me, is that when I just had a crazy realization one day, like, holy crap, like, this is probably the biggest opportunity of all of crypto and no one's talking about it. Like, that's kind of how I feel about JarHeads. No, that is how I feel about JarHeads. Like, if you told me that JarHeads was 10K at the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised. And that's a pretty crazy statement to make since they just came out and how much they've been blowing up recently. But I really believe that. This is just screaming at me. And there's very, very, very few things that scream at me. And this is screaming at me. So I think even right now, as I'm making this video, I might do something crazy and buy another one for 500, knowing that it could drop to 200, if the hype dies down. But knowing also that as a long-term investment, that this has just an incredibly high level of potential. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a little bit more perspective of what I'm thinking here. I'm personally really bullish on these different projects that I listed. I'm just bullish in CNFTs in general. So if you guys actually enjoyed the video or if you learned something, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure to follow the Block is Hot Discord and follow the Twitter as well. So in the description, there's gonna be the Twitter and there's gonna be the Discord. And in the Discord, we're gonna be talking about all these projects in a non-biased way. So I really hate being in these different Discords and you can only talk about their project and you can only say good things, right? So it's cool about the Block is Hot is we're going to be there to motivate each other. We're going to be there to talk about different projects. We're going to tell each other about scams. We're going to, really talk in an unbiased situation about a multitude of projects as well as crypto projects. So I'd love to see you guys in there. I've been, reading through every single person that has introduced themselves, and it's really cool for me to see the viewers to get to know the viewers behind the views, right? Like I just see in my video and it'll be like 1,000 views, but I don't know any of your guys' names. So it's cool to be in that community and really get to know you guys. I've really been enjoying it. So make sure you join that. But that pretty much sums up the video. I hope you guys have an awesome day.